back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. I'm Wendy, and on my channel we do everything manifestation science-based with the help of the law of assumption. So if you like this kind of content, please make sure you like, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Today I want to talk about a topic that I've actually been looking into for quite a little bit now, and also I've been trying to test it out myself and just to kind of see how it goes, have other people test it. I don't really just like to test things on myself only. I like to have other people test it just to kind of get a little bit of a peer-reviewed study going on. Learning styles. And I know this might surprise you and might sound a little bit weird, but just bear with me because it's gonna change your life. So just to do a little recap. So the law of assumption states that everything we assume is true. Now, people always think that manifestation is something that is outside of us, that's a technique we have to do, because that's what the law of attraction taught us. If you're not new here, I hate the law of attraction. I have a very, very long toxic history with it. But the law of assumption is something that you do all day, every day anyway. So every thought that you think is basically an assumption. And if you hold that thought long enough, your subconscious will take it as fact and then act on it based on that assumption, which means that your surroundings will start acting like it, people around you, and you will start acting like it, talk like it, whatever the case may be, and put that energy out and then get it back. The way to retrain your subconscious is through repetition and through basically relearning the pathways that your brain used to lay. Now, the things that we learn in school obviously are very, very good when it comes to distracting us and making our brains so busy and so tired that we don't really often have time to really look at the beliefs that we have that might be negative to us. And retraining it takes some energy, it takes some persistence. So if you are consistently, busy at school, busy in college, and busy at work, and your brain is so overfilled with almost like mindless tasks all the time, when you come home at night, the last thing you want to be doing is to retrain your brain by doing techniques. And I fully understand that, so please bear with me because I am going to give you a little bit of homework and I do want you to do it and then come back to the video and tell me how you did. But we are going to start studying high school style. I know, it sounds crazy. And I recently had this conversation with somebody. This person was someone who used to just cram all night and then take the test the next day. Did quite okay, but can't really recall anything today. Some things they caught up on and, continued revising them and doing memorizing and all of those things, and they still can recall those things today. That's exactly how our brain works. Now, if you do something like studying math or whatever, it usually has no real effect on your life. Yes, it's an assumption and it plays out in your real life, but it doesn't really tell you anything about how the world is shaped, which again is why I think that a lot of things that we're being taught in school is just really harmful to us, because we're sitting at home mindlessly watching TV, which are oftentimes assumptions that do affect our life quite significantly, but the things we are then learning in school, they don't really have any lasting impact on your personal relationships, your relationship with yourself, whatever the case may be. And I've had this comment before where someone said, well, but my brain is different. No brain is different. Every brain works the same when it comes to memorizing, like repetition, retention, all of those things. Every brain works the same. This is just more about which style of learning is better for you. So I'm neurodivergent if you're new here. And I actually did some research into that, so I am going to make a separate video about how to do it when you're neurodivergent, and I'm going to go into every single topic with examples and all of that kind of stuff if you want to know more. So I'm just going to go over them for the people who already know their style, who already know how to do it, and they can go and do it right away. And then for everybody else who needs more in-depth content, I will make that in-depth content over the next couple days. So there's 4 learning styles. There's visual, there's auditory, there's reading, writing, and then there's kinesthetic? Kinesthetic, yes. So I'm a kinesthetic learner, for example, but I just recently found that neurodivergent people do really benefit from also including visual and auditory, kind of really doing everything at once a little bit, which makes sense because whenever I take learning tests like this, they always come out all over the place. There's never really one that really stands out. So if you don't know your learning style, I would definitely recommend you go and Google it. There's lots of quizzes you can Google. I would recommend you do 2 or 3 of them. See how you go. See which one you think really fits you the best. Maybe you already know your learning style, and then based on that, we are gonna go and manifest with that. For example, if you are a visual learner, I would want you to make a vision board. I would want you to maybe think about some scene that you can visualize, or you can make yourself a little movie or whatever the case may be. You can even pick out a movie scene from an actual movie or a TV show or whatever. And while looking at it, thinking about the fact that what you're seeing on TV is exactly what you're experiencing in your personal life. Now, if you're an auditory learner, you would obviously absolutely benefit from just affirming and maybe listening to subliminals, maybe recording your own affirmations and just listening back to them, and also having internal conversations, but maybe out loud, so maybe not visualizing them, but either finding a manifestation buddy, or you can even talk to your pets, for example, if you like. It really doesn't matter as long as you're having a conversation of some sort, or you're using your words or your ears. You can use music. Music is a great way to do that, to find a song that has lyrics that are very much in line with what you're trying to manifest, with what you want, and then sing the lyrics, dance to the lyrics, move your body if you want to. That, like, music is such a good way to manifest. The next one, if you're someone who likes to read or write, obviously journal. Or if you are not a journal kind of person, you can still either read a book, you can write a story out once for yourself and then read it over and over again. And you can write your affirmations. There's plenty of ways where you can just implement writing it down or reading something. You can even, if you have someone, a friend who is really good at writing maybe, you can even have them write a story for you that really puts you in the end result as if you were reading a book, and then read that to yourself every single night, every single morning, whenever you have a few minutes. Don't make it too long just because you want to be able to repeat it over and over again, because even if you're an avid reader, you're not going to be reading the same book, even if you love it so much, back to back to back. You're going to, switch between books and then come back to it. So keep that in mind. Make it vivid and make it in a way where it creates visuals or emotions or something along those lines for you, but make it digestible. And then the last one is kinesthetic. So obviously kinesthetic is hands-on learning, having to do something. This was the hardest one for me to kind of do research on, because when you look it up, they will tell you, try it out. If you're, for example, learning a new computer program or whatever, use it as often as you can until you get there. So with kinesthetic learning, you would really benefit from moving your body. So dancing is great. Exercising is great. You can affirm while you're doing it. Affirming out loud would be a really big thing for that too. Don't ask me why. That's what the research says. So basically taking a little bit of every style of learning and putting it together. You can even script it out while reading it aloud to yourself, for example. I personally find that exercising works really, really well for me. I really like it. Just going on a treadmill and having them run in the background, or affirming it for myself, or just doing everyday tasks. I think if you're a kinesthetic learner, doing daily tasks while affirming, like doing the dishes, taking a shower, just something where you're moving your body and dispelling energy of some sort. Walking the dog. I always say that I love to affirm when I'm walking my dog. That's exercise. Doing something hands-on. If this is something that you're trying to manifest where you can actually be hands-on and you can live in the end before it actually is here, do it. If you can't do it, actually try to visualize it. So for example, let's say you want to manifest a new car. Visualize you holding the steering wheel and then using it, right? Or using the gear shift or whatever it is that you need to use, or opening and closing the door. So if you are visualizing as a kinesthetic learner, I would highly, highly encourage you to use something that includes some sort of motion. I think that's really helpful to get your mind to where it needs to go. And I mean, there's been studies done that people can exercise in their mind. They don't actually have to exercise, like the body still fires into the muscles and they, keep moving and training and all of those things. So as a kinesthetic learner, it's just really important to get your body involved somehow, as much as you can, even if it's just in your head. And so as a little homework exercise, I want you to take one desire, just really something really, really small that you feel like is really easy to manifest, really simple. Maybe something like a text message or maybe a free coffee or something. And I want you to implement that and try it out. And the reason why I'm saying you should start with something small is just like you going to school and starting with learning vocabulary, learning your ABCs, and then you gradually go up and up and up. I think your brain does benefit from you doing smaller things and really getting yourself used to doing that again. Because if you go right into, well, I'm going to manifest a marriage and I'm single, I think you could probably get overwhelmed and discouraged. And I don't want you to do that, because this is such an important way for your brain to get into the habit of manifesting and the more success you have, which is why school is set up the way it's set up, so that we start small and have more and more successes and then build up on that. Doing it this way, really seeing it as homework, I want you to see it as like a college course or a high school course. You're starting in grade 1 and then you're slowly going up the steps. If you're someone who likes to manifest all the way until the end, you can obviously do that. I'm not telling you not to do it. I just personally find that I have a lot more success if I do it in steps and I take my time and I go through all the single steps. And I don't want you to think about the how. The how doesn't matter. Just make it as general as possible, but still specific enough so that you can feel what it feels like. But look at it as a homework that is going to get graded and you're going to get rewarded for that. And your reward is obviously your manifestation, okay? But the thing is this, if you've done your homework correctly and you go to bed at night, you know you've done the homework, you know you've done it right, you don't get anxious when you go to school the next day and you get it graded because you know you've done everything right. That is what I want your mindset to be at. And now if you're someone who used to be a bad student, which I can totally relate and understand, this might also heal a little bit of that wound because you know you did it correctly. I want you to tell yourself that you're doing it correctly. There's no doing it wrong in this case, okay? You're just using study techniques to rewire your brain. This is homework you can't get wrong. And that might heal a lot of stuff from childhood and teenage years and all of those things because you are good enough. Just because you failed in school doesn't mean that you're going to fail in life, even though they might tell you that. But let me tell you, it is 100% not true. You might be able to heal some childhood wounds while also manifesting what you want. So that's why it's important to kind of gradually build yourself up to that and really, really see it as daily homework. I want you to take time every single day. I don't care how much time it is. If you have 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. If you have 10 minutes, do 10 minutes. Keep doing it. And every time the topic comes back up and you all of a sudden start remembering something, like always go back to the statement, I don't need to worry about it. I've done my homework. And that way you can actually just affirm that I've done my homework. I've done it correctly. I got that A+. I got my manifestation. That's one affirmation you have to remember. So you don't have to go back into this array of affirmations that you have to keep repeating because your brain knows what kind of homework you've done and it knows to retain that information and what it implies if you say, I've done my homework and I'm going to get my reward, which is my manifestation, okay? If you are worried in between, just keep saying, it's just going to take a minute for the teacher to grade it. I'll be fine. I know I got that grade. Just because you've done homework at home the night before, you are not going around all night thinking, oh my God, is the teacher going to be there tomorrow? Am I going to get my grade? Am I going to fail? Like, what's going to happen if I don't get my grade? No, you go to bed and you know that time has to pass before you go to school and before the teacher gets it and then grades it, which can also take some time, and you're going to get that grade at the end of the year. Those are all things that you know because you've been conditioned that this is the system that you've been brought up in. And even though we do benefit from breaking out of certain systems, especially when you're just starting out your manifestation journey, I don't see a reason why you should break out of those systems versus making them work for you. They're already implemented. You already have them brainwashed into you. Might as well make them go in your favor versus trying to change all of those habits while you're also trying to manifest everything else in your life. Those habit changes you can implement once you're done. Once you got everything else that stresses you out, that is out of the way, but in the meantime, you're going to get on your little desk and you're going to do your homework at night and Miss Wendy is going to grade it, okay? I want you to bring it back to me. I want you to write a comment. Tell me what you've done if you feel comfortable doing so. And I want you to keep going and keep at it because you know the universe, your grading card, the universe will deliver for you, okay? No matter what. So I really hope this video helped you. If it did, give it a thumbs up, like it, share it, and I will see you in the next one, guys.